Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm here with another map guide, and it's the final part. Okay, we're finally here with Caspian Border, and this is going to be the last portal map that we're going to cover, and my playlist is going to be completed with this one. So hope you enjoyed this last video. In this series of videos, I'm going to cover all the basic knowledge that you need to be able to play effectively on all the maps in 2042, base maps and portal maps included. And I'm going to share with you the spawn locations, the tips and tricks, some of the secrets to every site, and that way you're going to be able to play more effectively against some of the experienced players in 2042. So that is basically what we're going to do here. Also, if you want the same video for your favorite map or the map that you want to know more about, the link to that is down in the description. We have a playlist for that. You can go ahead and watch whatever map you want and get some more knowledge about it. So make sure to follow me on X. That's the second link in the description. So that way we can be more connected to each other. Basically, that's a more friendly environment on X. Without further ado, let's just get started and see what we have in B site of Caspian Border. So in most scenarios, B gets a decent share of action in Caspian Border. There's always something going on here, whether it be snipers playing here or just tanks facing each other, or basically just an all-out war taking place here. And B is most of the times one of the sites that really matters in the flow of the game. So having this site captured is actually pretty important. So before we start, let me give you the spawn locations. When you're attacking the site and people spawn to defend it, they're going to be spawning from around here all the way to the end of the river here. Sometimes back here behind this building. We're going to talk about this building in just a few seconds. Around there, behind that trailer, and basically behind those containers is another spawn location. So to make it simple, you have to be looking out for basically all around you. There's no specific place, okay? I just gave you the whereabouts, but basically they're going to be spawning all around you. So that's something you should consider. Now, where I prefer to play most of the times is inside this building, especially if the building is intact and not taken down by like tanks and vehicles and stuff like that. I'm going to most of the times play here. So this is the place that I prefer to be. And the reason for that is simply because you have eyes on all the spawns. If someone spawns from around here, you're going to see them. If someone tries to push you from around here, you're going to see them. Around here, the back of the trailer, someone spawns here, you have eyes on them. And even if someone tries to push the site from around the bus, you still be able to see them. So you have these small little windows with perfect line of sight and perfect cover. And generally speaking, it's a perfect place to be. It's like a siege most of the times. It's so hard for people to push you. So there are multiple things you can do in this building. Let me show you one, for instance. For example, you can jump on top of this, just like this, and you're gonna be very unpredictable this way. Now imagine someone tries to push you inside and you know they're coming for you. Imagine if you're camping there, it's gonna be so easy for them. You're predictable. They can tell that you're somewhere around the corner, right? But nobody expects you to be like on top of this. So even if these guys want to pre-fire, they're going to pre-fire somewhere like there or around the corners, not up here because nobody expects you to be here. So playing in someplace unpredictable is most of the times very important. Another thing you can do is jumping on this and start jumping up rapidly. This way you can see what's going on around you. It's some sort of a quick peek. Then if you know the threats, for example, coming for you from that way, they're going to be easier just pre-aiming them, pre-firing them, whatever you want to do with them. So that's about this building. Now, sometimes you might be forced to play around here. I know I've been in that situation. Sometimes you're forced to play around here. This cover is solid and you have a lot of lines of sight here, especially if you want to just quick peek and go back down. Nobody can hit you here most of the times. If you're forced to play here, don't avoid doing it. In my opinion, sometimes it can be tricky for you and for your enemies. But if you have some situational awareness, you can probably play here just fine. Now, there's another building here in B site. It's probably some sort of a warehouse or something. Most of the times, people tend to play here. You see a lot of people camp here, and the reason for that is the place is like a fortress with solid cover. One of the places that you see a lot of people camping all the time is behind this solid cover here. In my opinion, this is a common place, but it is so strong that even if you tend to be here, it's more likely that you're gonna get the kill instead of your enemy killing you. This is always a solid place, but if you want to be just a bit more unpredictable for people who try to push you from this door, in my opinion, being around here is just way better. It's all about how you utilize the cover. For example, you can even be behind cover holding the door straight like this. Even you can deploy your bipod and be like able to hit people who even push you from the bus. So this is a solid place as long as it's intact, okay? And that's not the case most of the times because early in the game, place is going to be like destroyed. It's going to be something like this. And it really means nothing. So in the early stages, you can play here and you're going to be safe, but the more the round goes on, the less likely it'll be for you to be playing here safely. that's the logic behind it. Also, remember to use the trailer because underneath you can just go down and start seeing whatever's going on around you, even killing people here. They're not going to be expecting someone prone under the trailer. That's basically something you can do. I've done this before. Most of the times, it just works fine. All right, so that was all you needed to know about B sector. Now, let's take a look at D site. D site and C site are literally the most important sites in this map. They're just way more important than B is. And the reason for that is, first of all, they're close to each other. And second of all, they complement each other. For example, if your team is holding D and the enemy team is holding C, you're going to have some height advantage over these guys. It's going to be really easier for you to pick them off because of that height advantage, and you have like easier access to their site. So basically, these two complement each other. If one team holds them both, that's going to be great. If not, there's always going to be a big conflict going on between these sites. So one team eventually gets a hold of both of them. So that's what happens most of the times in Caspian Border. It's about the fight between D and C. So in the site itself, there are things you should know. First of all, if you're playing in it, DMR, LMG, something like that, being on top of this rock right here, it's going to make your day easier, especially if you have like a bipod on an LMG or something. This is going to be your point of view. This tree kind of covers you if it exists here, if it's not like destroyed or anything. It covers you, and you have eyes on whatever's going on in the site. The same goes for this rock right here. If for some reason you want to play here, this is a replacement for the previous one. You see a lot more because that tree is not in your sight anymore, but this tower right here is. So it all comes with some advantages and some disadvantages. It's up to you which one you want to choose, but just generally speaking, they're the same kind of, and you're gonna have some good height advantage. And if you're like playing an LMG or DMR, something like that, it's gonna be perfect for you. Inside the site, I would always try to avoid being here because, well, that's a small building. If you cage yourself here, you're gonna be easy to deal with. They're gonna throw a frag here. They're gonna hit you with an RPG. There are so many options that people have if they know you're here, so don't try to do that. Even for this building, unless it's absolutely necessary, do not cage yourself here, okay? Just don't do it. It's not worth your time. Even though this building is not going to be solid all the time, most of the times it's going to be something like this. Let's take a look at this. It's gonna be like this. So this building's not gonna be solid 2 minutes in the match. So you don't have a good reason to play here. What I would do instead is playing here inside this. This is my favorite spot. It really is effective. Like, you're gonna go down, take cover. The cover is solid. You're gonna get up. You see anyone who's coming from there, behind that blue container, and even behind you, anyone who tries to flank. So this is a solid place, but there's one more place in particular that sometimes I tend to play, and it's this one. You have still a solid cover. There's literally nothing going on behind you, so it's really hard to flank you as well. And between these trees, there's a line of sight for anyone who tries to flank you from like these rocks from around here. Anyone who tries to flank you, they're going to be in a pretty decent position to take them out before they even see you. They might not even see you at all because, well, this tree is like a complicated thing here. But yeah, this is a perfect place to play as well. For these spawn locations, you need to know that people might be spawning from all around here in the river, back here, but most of the times where people come from is going to be either down there or back here behind these rocks, sometimes even here down the road. So most of the times, like 7 out of 10 times, you should be putting your focus around this side of the map. And sometimes, especially if the enemy team has C sector, they're going to be pushing you from around here. So those are the spawn locations. Now, if you didn't know, maybe you have no experience with Caspian Border before, you can access these sites so easily from here. You simply go up just like that. So you don't really need to just come all the way here. That's not something you necessarily need to do. You can just simply come up from this small rock right here. Now moving on to C sites. C is really not a complicated site, to be honest. There's like a plain site with a lot of trees and just one single solid cover. Most of the times I would try to avoid being here as much as possible, but it's not always the case. Sometimes you see me playing here because that's what the flow of the game says. C site and A site in Caspian Border are the only sites probably that your playstyle depends on the flow of the game. Let's say the enemy team has control of D sector, okay? You no longer can play here because there are people up there who can kill you in a blink of an eye. But if you have the control of D sector and you try to now take control of C as well, playing here, especially with an LMG, DMR, is just great. And the reason for that is, first of all, you can contest the site at the same time. And second of all, most of the times when people spawn to defend the site, they're going to be spawning around here. And if they come around here, guess what they're going to see? They're going to see someone with a 200 round per mag LMG on bipod laying down suppressive fire. they're gonna be dead. So that's what you want to do. If the flow of the game allows you to be here, I would say play here, perfect place. But if not, there's also a weaker version, and it's gonna be around here. So you're gonna be contesting the site still, but you're not gonna be in danger from these sites. So you can do the exact same thing from here. Anyone that comes around, they're gonna be in your site. So that's about that. But the only solid cover in the site is gonna be this small green container. If you're gonna play here, you have two options. You can either play behind this one, or you can be playing here on top of this thing. And this way you can just use your bipods as well. If you have a weapon with a bipod, you're going to be using it here, and you're going to have some steady fire going on with you. Now for the spawn location, it's pretty simple. 9 out of 10 times people will spawn around here, back there behind those rocks, and all of them will eventually push you from here, no matter where they spawn. Sometimes, and this is less likely to happen, but sometimes you see people spawning around here, pretty much less likely to happen, but it just happens sometimes. Sometimes people will spawn in that river around there. Most of the times it's not the case, but it's just good to know. More knowledge never hurts. So that's going to be the case for C site. As you can see, it's a pretty simple site here, and there's really not a lot of secrets and stuff to talk about. Let's just get straight to A site. So as you can see, the contesting area of A site is ridiculously big, probably one of the biggest in all the maps in 2042. As you can see, I can contest the site from on top of here all the way to that small building right there. And this site is pretty much simple. Again, it really depends on the flow of the game, how you want to play here. First of all, let's start with the spawning locations. Sometimes people will spawn here, and it's more likely to happen. People will spawn here on top of this hill. Sometimes people will spawn in the plain sight behind these rocks, just around here. And the other spawning location is actually just behind these rocks down there. So those are locations that you need to be looking out for. It's pretty easy to get lost here because the site is pretty huge, but playing here is simple, and I'm just gonna tell you why. First of all, avoid being around here. Again, this is a small building. If they know you're here, you're screwed, okay? This place is also the same. It's less likely for people to find you. Some people don't even know this place exists. So if you're in a hiding place, let's say for like 10 seconds, this is a good place. You can surprise 1 or 2 people and just get out, probably rotate behind these buildings. Something like, you can do something like that. In my opinion, playing in this building is, again, just caging yourself for no reason. I wouldn't do that. But again, if the flow of the game actually compels you to play here, it's okay. It's fine. If you get a kill or 2 there, it's okay, but you should get out immediately, because if they know you're there, they're going to be on you, killing you easy. Same goes for these small buildings as well. So whatever building you see here is basically a no-go unless it's absolutely necessary. What I would do most of the times is I play on top of this hill. First of all, because, well, you have a incredible line of sight here. No one can hide themselves from you, literally. And the second of all is you're going to have some height advantage here, and height advantage never hurts. That's how I play here. Now, most of the times, if this tower is actually intact, you're going to see a lot of people probably playing around there, and there's literally nothing you can do about these people. That's basically on your air force to do something about them, clear it out, because most of the times people will go there, place radio beacons, like their team's going to be just populating there, so you can't really do anything as infantry. But if they're really hurting you and they don't really let you capture the site, in my opinion, you can always pick up something, some helicopter or something, or even a pond hawk, and approach them, clear it out, and then come back and clear the sites. One important thing about A site is if you stay in one place for too long, it's going to be a big disadvantage. You don't want to do that. As soon as they know you're in one of those buildings, your day is going to be ruined. So in my opinion, don't stay in one place. Try to be always on the move, and that's going to be for your own good. All right, so we're here at E, our final site here. E is actually a pretty big site. As you can see, the contesting area is huge. If you look at the minimap, E, in my opinion, is a pretty decent site. It's a rich one simply because there are so many buildings here. Adds a lot of complexity, and there are a lot of things you should know about this site, despite being one of the sites in Caspian Border that actually gets the least share of action. So first of all, there's this building here. You see a lot of times people camp around here, and it's so dark, as you can see. It's really hard for people to kind of know if there's someone camping here or not, especially here. As you can see, there's even cover for you. So if you really want to hide yourself and piss some people off, this is going to be the place for you. Then I can always get on top of this rooftop to see a bit more. What I would do is playing like this, so at least some parts of my body have some sort of cover here, but you can always play on top of the building freely as you want. Also jump on the rooftop of this gas station and be around here as well. Just something you should know. But if you're gonna have like easy access to this rooftop, here's what you're gonna do. Jump on this, grab this one, and get up. So Simple as that. So you don't need to actually get inside the building to do something like this. This destroyed truck here makes a lot of smoke, and it kind of works as some sort of cover for this building against these two buildings. So most of the times it'll just block your line of sight. It's like an ongoing unlimited smoke here. But these two buildings also play a big role here. People who want to hide themselves, for people who want to have, like, I would say a better line of sight over the main building of the site. The same goes for this one as well. Nothing too serious going on here. It's just you having some height advantage and some better line of sight, like compared to people down there. That's simply just that. And as I told you, this side really gets a small share of action. So most of these tips will probably just never come in handy, especially if you play Conquest here. For people who play TDM, like Team Deathmatch in Caspian Border happens in east side. So most of these tips actually work a lot better for you if you just play TDM. But again, for the spawn locations, just consider everywhere around the site as a spawn location for enemies who spawn to basically defend the site. All your surroundings is a spawn location. Also, there's something you can do here. Let me show you this. You can jump on top of this gas station, and from there jump on top of this. Sometimes you see some people in TDM getting spawned from around here, like their main base is going to be here. You laying down some suppressive fire is going to be interesting here. Just something like this with an LMG. It was just some kind of a parkour thing that I needed you to know, and that's really it. Especially because we're talking about Conquest. Let's really not waste a lot of time being around east side. But if I was to give you some general tips here, again, LMGs actually work pretty good here because of the potential that this map has for suppressive fire. There are so many angles that you can take advantage of, and especially if you're playing that LMG with an engineer, you're gonna have some more accuracy while you're crouching. That's also something to consider. And a site like A, try to be always on the move. That's going to be really important because there's literally no solid cover in that objective. There are just buildings that are working more like cages than like covers, so you don't want to be utilizing those for a long time. Just don't stay in one place for too long and you're going to be all right. About this building in B sites, sometimes people spawn here, sometimes there are snipers. Place a radio beacon in the second floor and they're going to be populating over and over again, and they won't let you capture this site easily. If that's the case, all you need to do is like throw an EMP, a grenade, something here to destroy that, probably kill anyone here, and if that doesn't work, you come here yourself and clear it out, capture the site in peace. So those were the things that you guys needed to know as common knowledge. Hope this video was helpful and hope you guys enjoyed. If that was the case, do make sure to hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel. That will actually help the channel a lot. It will actually help you as well to get more of these videos, learn a little bit more about your favorite maps, and just become a generally better player. Thank you all guys for watching, and until next time, stay cool.